Actually, guys, can you give me 1 minute? Can I take that call?
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
Mike and I are ready to do this podcast with Gerald, and he walks away. Too big, too important for talking to Mike and I. I get it. It's good to be the Gerald, I guess, but
All right, sorry about that.
no problem.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Squat Cobbler. I am Dr. Mike, Edificial Pagan on everything, and joining me, as always...
Hi, everybody. This is Kelly at KELLYTHUL on Twitter and Instagram.
And we are back with more Alice, just the way you guys like it.
Like and subscribe, Mike?
Oh, that was a great transition, sir.
Smooth.
I didn't even set it up that way. You just jumped on it.
I'm
Excellent
on it.
work.
Bog Panda. Be sure to like and subscribe to the Bog Panda YouTube channel, where you will get not only nurture and support, but this podcast, Squat Cobbler, and other stuff.
I'm excited about potential other stuff coming from Bog Panda soon.
Likewise.
Well, with that hint out of the way, we should get into talking about Alice Cooper, one of our favorite things to do. And I would say that this is a song that we are perhaps a little bit closer to.
Yeah, I'd say probably the closest of any Alice song.
That seems fair. So if you guys aren't aware, there is a pandemic happening at the moment. Kelly, have you heard about this?
Yeah, I have a little bit here and there. How about you?
I think I saw something on Facebook somebody posted.
Yeah, there's something about toilet paper. That's all I know. But you know what? The good news is, gang, the great toilet paper drought appears to be over. So yay.
Does it? I haven't gone toilet paper shopping recently.
Daily. It's a daily occurrence for me. Yeah, no, things are looking good.
That's what Hanson shirts are for.
Oh, nice. Well played.
Right? I had to make up for it because you got that great one in the beginning.
Excellent. Well done.
So during this pandemic that's happening, I guess we could say good friend now, our good friend, Alice Cooper, has released a song to kind of get people's spirits up and come up with a cool way to get fans involved with it. Now, what did you first think when you heard about this project, that Alice had a new song coming out? I'm sure you were excited, but that it was going to pertain in some way to the current situation in the world.
Well, I thought it was cool to do it. It was interesting because to add a little contrast to this, Bisto Blanco, Chuck Garric's band, did a Zoom meeting a couple weeks ago that I joined. A Zoom meeting, and I love Chuck, and I love the band, but they have no business running a Zoom meeting because they were, and it's not really their fault. It was all these idiots who couldn't manage to mute their microphones. But Calico was there, and the rest of the band, and so Calico is currently sheltering at home with Alice and Cheryl, and so she was like in his podcast recording studio, and she goes, "Hey, Mom and Dad are making dinner. Let's go out and check it out." So she rolled out, and so we got a little window into pandemic Alice Cooper world, which appears to be Alice sitting on the couch while Cheryl makes the dinner. But that's cool, whatever. But they were having hamburgers that night. But we got a little bit of Alice in there, so we got to see Alice sheltering at home, and then this news came out, and I said, well, yeah, that'd be pretty cool. So I was excited. I always am excited when new stuff's coming out from Alice. And then what he did in addition to kind of how do I connect to the fans on this, I thought was particularly cool.
Now, I've seen a lot of, I don't know if you've been following this, the Bisto Blanco thing is great because obviously we're fans of that project as well. Great ties with Chuck and Calico to Alice Cooper. And again, I feel like these people are our friends now. We can call them by their first names. Although Kelly did once say on the show that he was going to punch Chuck Garric in the face.
I did not.
He did. He did say that. Go back.
What would have possessed me to say such a thing?
You were talking about going to the Bisto Blanco show with your daughter.
Oh, yeah. It was, I could have.
See?
It wasn't that I wanted to.
See? He said he can take Chuck Garric in a fight. That's what he just said. You guys heard that.
No, Chuck would kick my bad word. He's a fit man. My point was my proximity. I had no interest in punching Chuck Garric. Let me be clear.
Kelly's proximity of violence. Chuck just so happened to cross that line into Kelly's violence proximity.
Well, I've been in a breakfast buffet line with Chuck as well. So, we go way back.
Wait, what? How did that come about?
Went to see, it was the pre-show, the kind of rehearsal show for Theater of Death in Elizabeth, Indiana. And that's a casino, riverboat casino kind of setup. And so it was kind of their dry run of the stage show. And so I went and watched the show, stayed down at the hotel connected to the casino that night, and got up the next morning to drive back home and get in line and notice the guy's taking all the scrambled eggs ahead of me happens to be Chuck Garric. and so I just, without trying to intrude too much on his space. Could have punched him then too. Didn't. Like to point out.
Two times now.
Twice.
Chuck Garric has narrowly avoided a fight with you.
And I just complimented him because, as always, really enjoyable. He was very pleasant and nice. But I was just next to him they had kind of a breakfast buffet line, and Chuck was loading up and left me some scrambled eggs. So I appreciated that.
That's what he's saying now. A second ago, he said could have punched him.
Again, it's a proximity thing.
So is that just anyone who gets close enough to you, you're like, I could punch them?
That's my measurement of distance. Yes.
So you were violently socially distancing before this pandemic.
Sure. We'll go with that.
So, all right. So Kelly's violent outburst aside, Alice is releasing this song. It's meant to kind of bring up everybody's spirits during the pandemic. And part of how they decided to do that was to get the fans involved in the production of the video that would accompany this. Now, how did you find out about this, Kelly? Did you see an article about it? I know, you keep up on all the Alice Cooper stuff.
I found out about it because you told me about it.
Oh, was that how you found out?
Yes.
I didn't even realize that. I wasn't saying that as like a build up to I found it first.
Oh, of course you weren't.
I didn't realize.
That's not the Mike Blinsky I know. Would never do such.
That's not the Dr. Mike you know.
No, would never do such a thing. Bad word.
I'm the
bad word.
You're the one trying to punch Chuck Garric.
Could have punched Calico Cooper too. Got a picture there. We'll include in the blog post. Totally. She's definitely.
Picture you punching Calico Cooper.
No, I can't put her in a headlock, but it's a distance. It's a distance thing.
Anyway, so Alice announces this song, and Kelly, do you want to share the name of the song with everyone?
Don't Give Up. Not the Peter Gabriel Don't Give Up, which, by the way, is a pretty cool song, but Don't Give Up.
That's not the whole title. It's not called Don't Give Up, not the Peter Gabriel.
To clarify, yeah. Actually, I think it is.
If anybody's Googling that right now.
Parenthetically, it's not the Peter Gabriel song. So.
But the song's called Don't Give Up. And Alice decided to, and at first I kind of thought because of this that it was going to be a lyric video, which is a really popular thing on YouTube right now. Are you a lyric video guy, Kelly?
It probably depends on the song. There are some that actually kind of works out pretty well. I prefer kind of more visual elements to it, but on occasion, I don't mind them at all. How about you?
So I could take it or leave it. I remember we did a lyric video really early on when that was kind of first starting to pop up, but where it is now and what people are doing with that, I think it's a much more creative and interesting thing. When you see people use a lot of the dynamic text animation and things like that go along with it. And that's kind of where I thought this was going, because what they had asked for was for fans to take pictures of themselves holding up signs with a word from the lyrics to the song.
Yeah, and they gave basic instructions to say, make it big and submit multiple words if you wanted to increase your chances of appearing in the video.
So I kind of thought, well, this is going to be a lyric video, but it's not exactly anyway. But before we get too much into the video, because there's a big thing to talk about with the video here. Before we get too much into that, what did you think of the song when you finally got a chance to hear the song itself?
So I'm trying not to spoil this because I want to see if you ended up the same place. The very beginning of the song is reminiscent of another Alice song. And I was wondering, did you pick up on that, or did you feel that way or not?
So I do remember the beginning did strike me as familiar, but I wasn't able to put my finger on what that was.
Pick up the Bones from Brutal Planet. Very similar kind of winding guitar at the beginning. I mean, and that's really the only place that the intro is that way. After that, there's a bigger divergence. But after listening, as I heard it the first time, I go, yeah, I that sounds a little bit familiar. So it's reminiscent of Pick Up the Bones, the first kind of guitar refrain, and then things shift quickly. It was interesting as I kind of went to Reddit afterwards to kind of see some commentary on it. Something I totally missed so first of all, the song's doing really well on YouTube. It's got like 5,000 likes and like 50 thumbs down, which in the YouTube world is pretty unheard of. But Reddit's a less friendly environment, at least the thread I got into, that apparently there's a lot of pent-up anger about Brutal Planet with some people, that they just really are grumbly about it, which I totally don't get, because I really enjoy that album. It's industrial. It's definitely a shift in terms of what we typically have heard from Alice. But it was basically a thread, yeah, Pick Up the Bones. Let me tell you why I hate Brutal Planet. And then it just would go on and on. It's like, worst song ever by Alice. And it was like, wow. I disagree. I politely disagree with the folks on Reddit who feel that way. I enjoyed the song. It was an interesting combination of spoken word and chorus and a kind of very interestingly visually crafted video.
Yeah, so what they did with the video, instead of making it just lyric video, is it does have clips of Alice and his live band, who we didn't get on the last studio album. Alice and his live band playing in their respective locations with a sort of scrolling background of the submitted photos, making the backdrop for the video.
Yeah, and kind of a globe in the center with slightly larger versions of that's where the lyric video part comes in, where they're basically running across as Alice sings the lyrics. The globe is the equator of the globe usually is being kind of covered by those lyrics as well, while in the background you have this sea of other photos with all the words from the song on there, people holding signs.
And one of the people in that sea is you, Sarah.
Indeed it is. Not that I paid a lot of attention, but at the 37-second mark, you can see me emerge. I did the word yeah. I did it on a dark green background sign with white lettering. Most of the stuff in the background, well, basically all the photos are black and white or a tint on there. So it'll be a dark background with the word yeah big there. And as you know, while my appearances tend to be short in most video projects, people recognize it's a moment. So once that 37th second starts and about the middle of the screen, I come cruising apart. Right before it cuts away, it enlarges the photo a little bit, which I felt was appropriate.
I have to be honest. Once I saw you in the video, I was like, I don't really need to finish it. Like, I feel like maybe the video, at least the visual element of this, has peaked right here.
It was a risk to bring me in that early. And we're still doing some forensic work, but obviously I submitted a photo. Mike did as well. We're still doing a little bit of work here. I lucked out. And ended up kind of middle of the screen, and with the sign it's a little bit easier to spot. Mike had a really cool picture as well. We think at the 1:30 mark, the very top of the screen, Mike's there, but we're going to do a little more research on that.
Yeah, unfortunately, the first time that I watched the video was on my phone, and once I saw those pictures start to go by, I was like, oh, I'm never going to find us.
Yeah, it was fortunate, and I've kind of gone through it multiple times, kind of on the, it's like, where's Waldo? We got to find Mike. Where's Mike at? Where's he? And it's just, you got to kind of, because there were a lot of people that turned in photos for this, and so you got to kind of hunt around, but we think he's there at the 1:30 mark, but further research must be done.
Absolutely. And honestly, even if I didn't make it, it's so cool that you made it. I'm excited about that as well.
Yeah, it was cool. And it was a great kind of in line with the whole point of the song is, hey, and the lyrics kind of underscore this. Hey, as we're all in this together, we'll get through it. It's not easy, but we'll prevail. Hence, don't give up. That idea of kind of the we being all of Alice's fans contributing to this was a really cool idea. Very clever.
Yeah, I really liked it. And it didn't, I guess on the negative side of things, people were like, oh, well, it's just a lyric video, or they're having, people do the work as like a lazy way to do it. But I disagree with that wholeheartedly. And maybe that's some of what you saw on Reddit as well, or just the anti-Brutal Planet sentiment. But I totally disagree with that because, like Kelly said, it matches the tone and the theme of the song.
We know Alice is a really sharp guy when it comes to kind of the lyrical constructs and the wit he introduces and how he kind of assembles things together, and to kind of think this one through to say, I'm going to do a song. It's about being in there together and create a way to kind of allow his fans to participate in a way with the video was just super cool, in my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Now, you brought up something that was really interesting about the song itself. First off, definitely I can see the Brutal Planet parallels there, particularly with the guitar riffing in it, having that chunkier, heavier kind of guitar riff to it. The song itself, though, definitely non-industrial. One thing I would say was missing, and this kind of, I've listened to it a couple of times now, and I kind of flip-flop back and forth on this. My favorite vocal delivery that Alice does, and I think I speak for both of us here, is when he has his snarl that we love, that sort of classic Alice sound. You don't really get that in this song. So I do kind of miss that a little bit, but at the same time, it doesn't really fit this song. So I think the way he chose to go with it does serve the song more than that, but I do need to hear some Alice snarl.
I'd agree 100%. The world needs guts. Also about let's get together, but it was more let's get together to beat the crap out of people. Not Chuck Garric. But that had plenty of Alice snarl in it from there. But yeah, I missed the snarl as well. But really, if you think about what this is going after, that didn't really have a home in this song.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he made the right choice. He made the choice to serve the material, which is the right choice to make. Again, to speak for both of us here, I think we both prefer that as Alice's vocal delivery. So I'm always looking for that in songs. I didn't mind this at all. It actually put me in mind a little bit with his more kind of spoken word thing with a lot of the stuff that Iggy Pop has done.
I could see that. And even to a degree, the spoken segments of it aren't entirely reminiscent of Iggy Pop, but at least it's in that kind of tonality a little bit from there, because when you get that kind of deep baritone going in and talking about stuff, and a little bit of a similar delivery to Iggy spoken word kind of stuff. So I could see that.
Now, musically, what did you think about it?
I liked it. I mean, in terms of, of all of Alice's work, is this in my top 10? Probably not. It's a strong song. I welcome anything from Alice Cooper at any point in time. I thought it was a good, serviceable song. I think it's kind of much more about the point it's making than the I've introduced the next great anthem to the universe. But I liked it when it did move out of the spoken into, he's got a great band. And so anytime he kind of lets them loose a little bit, you're going to get good stuff. So I enjoyed that. You just, this isn't dominated by guitar all the way through. It's a good combination of stuff. So I liked the song. I said this isn't one that I, would just put, like I said, I wouldn't put in my top 10. And for some reason, right around after about the 37-second mark, my interest tapered a little.
And I can see that. And again, even for myself, other than maybe if that's me in the top when we do a little more investigation, maybe another flutter there for the visuals.
Sure. Fair enough. I could go there. Yep.
But yeah, the song, I totally agree with you. I think it's about the message and what they were trying to get across, not the song itself. But it's a good song. Like, I feel sometimes when you do, and this is why I don't like political music, when you make something about the message, you ignore the music sometimes to the detriment of the overall quality of the material. And I didn't feel that about this. We got a strong song, and I was excited to see Alice's live band back. As great as Paranormal is, and I think I speak for both of us, we both really, really enjoyed that album. It placed high for both of us when we ranked our Alice records. I did miss, and I think you would touched on this as well when we did our review. I think we both had said we kind of missed the live band in there, as great as everybody was. So it was great to hear them back on this.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. And actually see them as well. So that was very cool.
Absolutely. And I would put this as far as, because Alice has released a lot of material recently, over the past few years anyway, from Paranormal, you got the live record, the Breadcrumbs EP, the Sound of A EP, and then a second album for Hollywood Vampires. So there's a lot of stuff coming out from Alice right now, which is great. That's a really good thing for us, especially. I would put this probably somewhere between Paranormal and Breadcrumbs.
Yeah, I mean, and it's tough when it's like when you're laying a song up against albums and all that. But yeah, I mean, it's upper half. It's definitely strong stuff. I think the message more than anything else, and I think you're dead on that there's always a risk when it becomes a message song that you really park the musical side of it, and he did not do that here. But also, it is more about the message than the music, in my opinion, on this one a little bit. But a good, solid song, great band, as always on there. So a fun listen, and a cool video, and an important topic.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think we're both kind of in agreement where everything falls with this. And one of the things I am excited about, Alice, like so many artists, has had to cancel his touring plans for the year, but he did say that means the next full length Alice Cooper record will be coming sooner now. Any thoughts on that, sir?
Just excitement, waiting for that to come out, as well, because he's done, some pretty cool stuff here in recent past. Whether it's Along Came a Spider, Paranormal, some really cool stuff, Hollywood Vampire stuff, which Mike and I haven't talked through on an album by album, but I think we will, as well as, while not Alice, we'll get into some more Beasto Blanco for you guys at some point as well, because if you're not listening to them, you need to. They're awesome.
Even if Kelly is constantly threatening to physically assault members of the band. Again,
it's a measurement of distance. It's not a threat. All right. I sure hope Chuck doesn't hear this, because...
I mean, now that you're basically a part of the family.
Yeah. It'll be. They're gonna edit the video. There'll be this black box over section. That's the crazy guy that wants to punch Chuck. I don't. All right. Well, I think we've gone. I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 times longer than the song in kind of covering it.
Which we did the last couple times we did a single review.
Yeah, that's kind of how we roll. But we're excited. It's always fun. This is really cool because of the fan engagement side as well. It's good to kind of hear from Alice on this. It's good to hear the good news that the new album could be coming out sooner. And then fingers crossed, I don't know what post-COVID-19 concert world looks like. Hopefully it gets cool again where we can do it, because you guys got to see Alice if you haven't. It's an amazing show. And hopefully we find a way to do such a thing.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for listening, everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe. Bog Panda.
Bog Panda.
All right, I'm going to stop the broadcast.